It's Bob and Tom Tonight, starring Chick McGee, Christy Lee, Josh Arnold, Ace Cosby, Pat Godwin, Willie Griswold, and Tom Griswold.
Saw a cool tattoo yesterday. I was interviewing Tony Kanaan.
Yep.
A guy who has won the Indianapolis 500.
He's got a giant one, doesn't he?
He was wearing a T-shirt. I just saw it peeking out of the bottom like a brick. So I said, what's that? He rolled up his his arm, and he's got the Borg Warner and a little tribute to his wife, and some very cool stuff. By the way, if you're a fan of the Indy 500, I interviewed a whole bunch of the guys yesterday, including Scott Dixon, Will Power, just some great people, Elio Castroneves. We've got those posted at the bobandtom.com website where you can hear a bunch of cool interviews.
So Spangle was there yesterday.
Wait a second. Obscure trivia fact. Will Power's brother is a stand-up comedian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's currently in development with, I want to say, HBO.
Is he in Australia?
Yeah. He's but yeah, what are the odds of that?
Well,
apparently pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
So you were there yesterday. I sent Spangle to babysit you. I do this from time to time. You go out in public, and I make sure you're okay.
Sure.
You know? I want to make sure you're not doing.
He can't go alone.
No.
Especially representing our show. No.
Spangle is texting me going, "Yeah, your dad's talking to this French driver. He just asked if his girlfriend smoked cigarettes."
Oh
and the driver goes, "Why would you ask that?" He goes, "I just figured all French people smoke cigarettes."
Wait a minute.
And she just had a baby, by the way. It's his wife.
That really did. I'm not talking to you. That really didn't happen.
Of course I asked him that.
Spangle's
Of course
texting me.
I asked him that.
He's texting
His
me.
wife isn't French.
She smokes cigarettes. What did he say to you?
He
said, "Oh, no."
During the break, I said, I would have gone out there and done that for you, so you didn't have to be out in public.
Well, and also, Christy, you also know what you're talking about a
And
little
I
bit.
would never have
And my
asked.
dad asked questions like, when you hit the wall in a racing simulator, does it do anything funny? Does anything humorous happen? When you
Well, yeah, 'cause I mean,
What's the funniest thing's ever happened when you hit the wall?
No, that's not what
when
I.
you have a rat.
That's not what
gotta
I
be
asked.
hilarious.
I can't wait to
glad.
listen to this podcast.
I'm glad we said to him because I think this will be an awesome podcast.
Yeah.
No, I definitely see these guys. They have, for example, these incredibly expensive, multi-million-dollar simulators. They get in it, and it tries to show them what it's going to be like at a specific track. To the point, these computers actually have, for example, if a track has a bump in turn 3, it's programmed into the simulator. And some of these guys, actually put their suits on and everything when they get in there.
It's almost like they're using the simulator like a learning tool.
Chick might be on.
Is that what you're doing
So I asked the French guy, "Do you smoke in the simulator?" No, I just asked if his wife smoked.
So you heard he was
So
from
you have
France.
Simon Pagino.
And
Is that who we're talking
No,
about?
it was Sebastian Bourdain.
You were
okay.
obsessed with him smoking.
No,
that's
no.
all.
No, that's not what I
I
asked.
don't
Did you
believe
ask about
You're
cheese
ruining
and
this now.
wine?
No, that's not what I asked.
Wait,
believe
as a fun bit, every time we interview an athlete now, can we ask if they smoke cigarettes?
I think we have to. Well, today with us is Jerry West,
I
NBA
wonder
Hall
what the
of
percentage
Famer.
of athletes who smoke are.
Back in the day, more.
Well, of course,
Now,
back in the
Chick will
day.
back me up on this. Smoking on the sideline,
Oh, yeah. I'm going to say...
quarterback.
Oh,
Joe Namath, maybe?
well, no.
No.
Lenny
Terry
Dawson.
Bradshaw?
Lenny Dawson
That's it,
was a
Len
big
Dawson.
smoker.
Oh.
There's a classic photo of him, I think, at the first Super Bowl in the locker room, smoking like a Kent or something.
I said no,
Baseball players used to smoke like in outfield and stuff?
well, that's a lot of tobacco chewing and other things.
Oh.
But the larger point here is there's a podcast that I did yesterday with a bunch of, if you're an IndyCar fan, Tony Kanaan is great. Scott Dixon, a Kiwi, terrific guy.
Yeah.
Alexander Rossi, Will Power, just a bunch of the guys.
Rossi, the Napa guy.
Ryan Hunter-Ray. But I was asking him about the simulators. It really is fascinating.
Do they each have one? Does everyone have one? Is that like a standard thing?
The major manufacturers have. They're incredibly expensive.
No, I mean, does every driver have one? Or do they have a place where they go?
They have to go to a place, yeah.
Huh.
Some of them have the home game version.
Yeah.
Which, and by the way, I did ask him if you crash in the real simulator, does it
feel like you're crashing?
To a degree, it does.
Christy and I were in a
issues with the steering, but I said, do they have like a screen come up and go, kablam?
Right.
Something humorous to add a little lightness to the moment.
Hal, why didn't you send me? I can ask stupid questions.
I could have gone and cursed.
Now, when you slam into the wall while playing the game, does the chorus to "I Can't Drive 55" by Sammy Hagar play?
These are all reasonable questions.
Does that not play?
But I also asked them, what was the last thing they Googled?
Huh?
And I had to ask that to a Swedish gentleman. Mm-hmm. No names here. But tell you what.
Feel free to go over there. Sorry.
I said, no, if it's something wildly erotic, it's okay.
That's what you asked?
You asked him that.
Yeah. So what's the last thing you Googled? And I forget what I think his answer was,
do you know?
How do I get to the track when they've got 16th Street down to one lane? By the way, brilliant.
Do you know that that's going to be some of their the driver's only exposure to this show is going to be you and your idiotic questions and demeanor and, as Josh would say, magooing around the drivers.
Now, did you know this?
What?
There are some very famous trophies in the world of sports.
Oh, God.
There's, of course, the America's Cup, the
Stanley Cup.
the Stanley Cup,
The Lombardi Trophy.
Stanley,
at the Indy 500, they win the Borg Warner Trophy.
Correct.
Bjorn Borg and Kurt
False.
Warner.
And I wanted to know, because they don't get to keep it because it's gigantic. But so they give them a little miniature one.
Right.
Yeah.
And the famous trophy has. What do you call those half sculptures? Bas relief, whatever it is.
Yes.
They have like a half of their face sculpture.
Right.
Half this way, by the way.
Right.
So you can see their whole face.
Of course.
Whose idea was it to send you out?
I don't know.
What a mess.
I asked Will Power how the sculpture of his face was. He goes, I think they made the nose too big. I said, oh, did they put Tony Kanan's on there?
You didn't say that.
Yes, I did.
Jesus.
I did.
And then Will Power said he's actually thinking of getting a nose job. And then he said that he almost hit the wall during qualifying. He said, well, that would have been while they're fixing my leg, I can have him pop a new nose on.
Oh, my God.
So you can see the quality of these interviews.
Man, you're selling it.
Check them out at bobandtom.com.
This would be like if they got one of the Nickelodeon reporters to do interviews at the Oscars.
Exactly.
That's exactly
We've been promising this song from Pat Godwin for quite
an
some
hour.
time. We somehow got sidetracked. We got talking about this weekend's Indy 500. I interviewed a bunch of the drivers. Those interviews are posted now.
Including a French driver?
bobandtom.com.
Sebastian Bourdais.
And your poser for him was?
Does your wife smoke?
Is it a wife or girlfriend?
I forget.
Whatever.
I believe this is Sebastian.
Sebastian Bourdais is our guest. Who speaks the best English, Mr. Pagenaud? Or
I don't know. I can't be judged. But I live with a French girl, so probably he has better English than I do.
Well. Does she smoke?
My girl?
Yeah.
No.
I thought all French people had to.
I thought all French people had to.
See, I'm trying to.
So it's much worse than we ever imagined.
Nope, I take everything back. Dad, you need to. You're fired today because tomorrow morning you are working for ESPN.
Wow.
You should be a sports broadcaster.
It's an amazing performance.
I'm also being told by our friend Mr. Chris Spangle on our staff that when he asked a Swedish driver what the last thing he Googled was, my dad said, was it some weird Swedish erotic thing?
No.
You are such a stereo. Never mind.
Well, thank you. I'm in stereo. No, I had some fun.
We had some fun.
Yeah, and then
So now you think all Swedes are just sex fiends?
The French driver and the Swedish driver go crying in a corner.
Yeah.
And
All French people smoke and all Swedes are sexed up.
Christy, the Swede. Oh, you would have.
I have a friend who's Swedish.
This guy would. I'm telling you.
I think Tom and I, and well, do you want to admit to it, Pat?
What?
We grew up at a time where Swedish erotica, that was a thing.
That was it.
Oh, it was?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But
I had a Swedish stepmom.
Did you really?
Now, see, erotic
Did she,
stepmom erotic is. Would you shut
That's
up?
a whole category.
Yesterday the F word comes out, and now this.
Actually, that's a huge
Please tell me she
category.
taught middle school. No?
No.
No, if Chick had been there, he would have asked the drivers, So, do you tint the windows? On your...
You can't get over it. I got to admit that's part of the reason I got my windows tinted is because I knew you'd have this wild reaction.
Yeah,
and
it's so silly.
just be weird about it.
How dark are they? So people driving by can't see into your car.
Darkest. That's right. I draw a crowd, Tom. It's
You can't
horrible
be Chick
being
McGee
me.
and drive around.
I can't be. I had my mask off for 2 seconds in a store one day, a couple days ago, and hey, I don't need that.
It's mob. You can't. You got to be careful out there.
Maybe
Pat
this
was
will
going
help.
to sing.
So did I.
Hello, Bob and Tom Show.
Bob and Tom, it's Kenny Tarmac. Hey, shooter, we just landed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got in from ATL by way of ARK and about to jet off to MCL for lunch and get a beef Manhattan later.
Wow. Gosh.
Long way to go.
I know. Then I'm closing the night off with Jay Clyde's drinking in Manhattan. I mean, what are those odds?
Oh, cool.
Nice choice.
Well, we got a huge Memorial Day weekend coming up. 3 days of fun in the sun. Starting today at noon, I'm forwarding all my calls straight to voicemail until Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
Which reminds me, I need to record a new greeting. Hang tight.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, you've reached the Double Diamond Tier Salesman of the Year, Kenneth Tarmac. I'm sorry I can't come to the phone right now, but I'm currently catching up on a little much-needed R&R after carrying my sales team for the last 12 months. No wonder my back always hurts. I know. If you need immediate assistance, you can press 1, and my beautiful assistant, Cammie, will be more than happy to take care of your needs. If you'd like to just leave a message, hit 7, and you'll be taken directly to my voicemail, which has been completely full for the last 12 months. Thanks for calling, and as always, remember when people say no, what they're really saying is, just not today. This is Kenneth Tarmac, 3-time McCurdy Salesperson of the Year and author of the ebook of the month on Kindle called Ready, Set, Sold, saying so long and reload and wait for the tone. Glad I got that out of the way. By the way, fellas,
Yes.
Sunday I'm going to the annual Big Indy 500 race party at Jimmy the Mad Dog's crib.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
He's got an in-ground pool outside, pool table inside, ladies in bikinis everywhere, but I'm starting to think his 500 race pool is fixed.
Why?
Last year when I pulled my driver's name from the hat, for the 4th straight year I got Tom Sneva. See what I did there, Ace? You know, what makes it funny is that Tom Sneva retired back in 92 and actually
Yes.
was a winner despite what I led you to believe.
Thanks for explaining
That's
that.
called a classic zigzag.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they taught us that when the big boss, Tobic, brought in an improv troupe to work with the sales force during our annual training seminar at Vail 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, they were called the shtick-ups. I know. Improv and sales have a lot in common, though.
What's that?
We both don't believe in the word no, and we both have to use our wit and charm to talk to people into seeing us.
Oh, cool.
I better hop off here, fellas. A lady across the aisle and her dog keep giving me the stink eye. What's your problem, Meemaw? I mean, what's so wrong with you that you're going to carry an emotional support puppy? Well, I'm a million miler, and I want to see the paperwork. I don't believe that.
Hang on. Corum, great to be here. There's Ace. Ace is the proprietor of the Ace Cosby joke of the day, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just any joke, of course. It's brought to you by our friends at Omaha Steaks, reminding you that you know what your dad wants for Father's Day. He wants a box o' steaks. And I'll tell you what, without any further ado, would you mind stepping aside, everybody? Because...
that sexy man with a deep voice. Ace Cosby, here he is with his joke of the day.
I made some fish tacos last night.
Oh, yeah?
They ignored them and swam away.
I made some fish tacos. That's fun. Chick, what he's saying is that they were fishing.
Wait a minute.
He cooked up some tacos for his fish,
I'm getting
but they
a
didn't
beat
want to
on it.
eat them, you see.
Yeah.
I made some fish tacos. Okay. All right. That's all right.
Okay.
That might be a smiler.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
like a smiler.
Welcome to Joke Autopsy. Thank you very much. That's, of course, brought to you by our friends at Omaha Steaks, and they do remind you, Father's Day just around the corner. Don't forget to tell them hello, and we'll be talking a little bit more about what's happening in the world of Omaha Steaks coming up for Father's Day.
Tom went to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway yesterday to interview the drivers for this Sunday's 500. So far, he's talked to a Frenchman, Sebastian Bourdais, a Swede, Marcus Harrison, and now your guess is as good as mine. But here's Tom again talking to Scott McLaughlin. Okay.
Hey, we're here with Scott McLaughlin. Where did you grow up?
I was in New Zealand, in Christchurch, New Zealand.
What's the name of it?
Christchurch, New Zealand.
Oh, Christchurch. I thought you said Crotchitch.
No.
Very unfortunate name for a city.
Very far away from that.
It's insensitive is what it is.
Let me just ask you a quick question. Do you not want to ever do this again? Is that the reason for this madness?
Chris, I'd go so far. I think that's blasphemous. Is what that was.
I'm
better
telling
check in
you,
with the big guy after that.
I really had fun. And Colton Herta, he after we're done, he goes, "Hey, I really enjoyed this interview. Thanks for not asking me any of the usual stuff." See?
Okay, there was one guy that
nice
said
change of pace.
Just to bring you up to speed, he asked Sebastian Bourdais, who's French, does his girlfriend smoke? He asked Marcus Ericsson, Swede, if he has erotica on his Google. And now he's insulted someone from New Zealand.
And did you hear
the guy says crotch itch?
No, he
says
doesn't.
Christchurch.
He says
New
Christchurch.
Zealand. It's about the only city you can be from in New Zealand.
Hey, we're here with Scott McLaughlin. Where did you grow up?
I was in New Zealand, in Christchurch, New Zealand.
Scratch itch.
What's the name of it?
Christchurch, New Zealand.
Oh, my
Christchurch.
gosh.
I thought you said crotch itch.
It's very clear that he says crotch itch.
Nope. I did not say crotch itch.
And now I'm being told then, Tom, you made poor Scott redo the station ID to include where he is from and then giggled when he said it again.
I mean, we can't send you anywhere.
Fun. You had a good time.
You should be put in a 55-gallon drum.
You can hear the full
buried in the desert.
That's great. You think I'm kidding? It's wonderful.
No, here's what I think.
That's where I learned my interview techniques.
Yeah, speaking of your interview techniques, you haven't caused an international incident yet, but it could happen any moment. You talked to drivers for the Indianapolis 500 coming up on Sunday.
Oh, I talked to what I think. There's some of these guys are they're all so cool and fun. We had a great time, and I got to talk to Colton Herta, he's a kid.
Hang on.
He's a kid.
But you talked to Sebastian Bourdais, and you found out he was from France. You assumed he and his girlfriend smoked, of course. Marcus Ericsson is from Sweden, so you assumed that what kind of erotica did he look at? And then I forgot. I apologize.
It was the guy from New Zealand.
Christchurch, New Zealand. You thought he said crotch itch and pointed that out and giggled right in his face.
Yes.
And now here's our interviewer, Tom, talking with IndyCar driver Colton Herta.
Colton Herta. It's great to see you.
Thank you.
Colton looks like a younger, much more handsome Dennis Miller. You see the resemblance? Is that a compliment, I hope? Comedian? Maybe you're familiar with it. Yeah, probably don't.
I don't either.
He used to do SNL. He was the first guy. Well, the second guy did Weekend Update.
Weekend Update. You dropped Weekend Update. Like he's going to go, oh, wait, Chevy Chase? Oh, no, the guy after Chevy. Okay.
That's
Dennis Miller, huh?
That's incredibly
you can hear the whole interview at bobandtom.com. Colton said to me, he goes, "Hey, thanks for not asking all the same questions everybody else asks." So he enjoyed.
Did you learn nothing from the time that you told the waitress at the restaurant we were all at that she looked like a young Jimmy Spencer?
She did. She could have been his heavy-set sister.
Why would you add the heavy-set part?
But you need to stop doing that.
Stop telling people
who they look like.
They look like someone, please.
Okay, sorry.
And if you do, how about you pick a handsome person? Hey, you know what? You look just like John Candy, only bigger. My goodness.
No, Dennis Miller's a handsome guy.
Or how old is Colton? 19?
Yeah.
Pick somebody.
If he wins, he'll be the youngest winner.
You look like a less attractive Steve Buscemi. Has anybody ever told you that?
You at least need to pick someone he's familiar with that's between the ages of 19 and 40.
For our audience, they know who Dennis is. Dennis is one of the great comedians, and I thought.
Yes, but you weren't interviewing our audience, were you?
Well, they can't see him, so I thought, hey, I want to see what Colton Herta looks like. The guy's a super badass driver. He's going to be starting in the second position.
Barely missed being on the pole for the Indy 500.
But as we said earlier this week, it was a great weekend for old folks because out at Indy, Scott Dixon.
And I don't like
40.
that. I don't like that you call Scott Dixon old at the age of 40.
Well, in the world of sports, Christy, but then we had it in the world of golf, as Chick McGee pointed out. You've got almost 51-year-old lefty.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Phil
Mickelson. And Josh made the comment, wow, that's great. It's about time an old white guy won a golf tournament.
Right.
You see, these are the jokes, folks. Trying to have a little fun here. But we had a bunch of fun with some of these great guys out there.
And where can we hear these?
At bobandtom.com.
Thank you.
And again, this would be like if a Nickelodeon reporter was doing red carpet interviews at the Oscars.
Yes.
It's so silly.
Well, some of these guys, are besides being incredibly brave, are incredibly smart.
Sure.
Yes, they have to be.
Super bright. And you can actually, I sort of set them free to talk about real things there for a while.
Real things like what?
Oh, like the autonomous driving thing coming up, which is going to be really amazing.
Okay.
And Jerry Hildebrand is more or less I think he's an MIT guy, an engineer. These guys are real smart. So,
did you ask what temperature they keep the AC at inside the car when they're on the track? It's got to be hot.
In all truth, I did, because with the new configuration, these cars, they get to, on certain days, they can get up to like 120 in there.
Oh, do they really have AC in the cars?
No,
No,
but
I
was joking.
So I asked them this.
Don't they have air conditioning in the suit, though? I thought.
To a
Maybe
degree.
not.
One of the guys, we were talking about the water they get to drink.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying that it gets in the water. There isn't a good. This is someone needs to invent this, where they store the water in the car, and it's got that tube going in.
Mm-hmm.
It gets real hot real quick. But it was pointed out that
Did you ask them when they peed?
I would never be so vulgar.
Are you kidding?
You said erotica.
Hey, Magnus, so you're from Sweden. You must know a lot about erotica.
Yeah, so you pee in your car because you're drinking all that water? I'm surprised.
I didn't say that. But they got to figure out a way to keep the water cool. But I did ask this. These guys practice in these multi-million-dollar facilities that they can simulate a race and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, because when you're driving in some of these cities, it can get super hot, and so it's like they were saying, you're in a race suit. That's hot already, and it's 120 degrees in there. And I said, well, in the simulators, do they heat them up for you, just to simulate being that hot? And they said no. And I said, would you like me to call Mr. Penske and have him add that to the to the Chevrolet simulator for you? This will teach him.
Uh-huh.
But I did find, after asking that stupid question, I found out some of these guys will go into a sauna and ride a bike and all kinds of stuff to simulate being that hot. What are you doing over there?
What are you
Playing with
doing
your
over
phone?
there?
Playing a game.
Can I have
I'm on
your
the
phone?
third level.
Give me your phone.
He's on the third level, Dad. Don't take it
third
away.
level.
He's
Leave
on
me
level
alone.
3. It's really hard to get
I
there.
just put up a picture of Willie and a Kim Jong-un haircut.
Oh, really? Did I get McDuffined? As the
I don't know if it was him, but
It's good.
this is really, really something. There he is now.
I look good in that.
I think you look good.
I could absolutely pull that off.
What do you think of that?
I hate to say
Where'd you
this.
get that?
I have his exact face shape.
my
He and Kim Jong-un have a pretty similar...